They basically gave her the option to attend, but stating that they were going to be talking about all of her claims.
Yes. Okay. So she issued a challenge back to them, is what I was saying, that we can do it today. We can do it tomorrow. It doesn't have to be on the 15th. We can do it any day between that, because we can do it virtually.
Well, the 15th wasn't mentioned at that time. Nothing had been mentioned about the 15th at that time.
Right. So, essentially what happened was midnight comes around, according to Candace, and if you look at the tweets, midnight comes around and she finds out that the challenge was issued, at that time. Now, at that time, you don't think that's a little bit of a strange move to issue a challenge to someone at that time and then give them a time frame in order to respond? There wasn't anything behind that? You don't think that was strategic in the least bit?
Good service by actually showing up in this room with some
I'm not. Maybe they want to be transparent about the invitation.
Any of that.
I don't know.
Thank you.
Okay, understood. So we'll get that down. And then you also are talking about constantly, and I just want to get your point of view on this, because you're saying every time Diligent or anyone says something about Turning Point USA, what they have to say and what they should say and the things they should say, you say that your position is they don't have to say that, right? Is that what I'm getting from you?
Well, that's not exactly what it is. I'm just saying that I think that I think that there's been a lot of requests. There's a lot of information that people would have liked to have after, September 10th. And Turning Point, honestly, doesn't have the ability to respond to every question. Okay, we know that. And because there's so many. But even of the ones that they are aware of, again, they're not under any, they don't necessarily have to respond to some of these things, but it's selective. It's not
of consequences.
And Chad, what Chad said was like that they don't have to respond to anything. And my statement or my feeling is not that it's so blanket. It's that there is no underlying obligation, and so they get to pick and choose what they're going to respond to.
Can I ask you a question?
I was trying to. You go ahead.
Okay, Rick. So if the left challenged Trump, stating that they wanted to address him and his, information that he spread that was falsely spread about the left, whoever it may have been, AOC, whoever, right? And they challenged him to a conversation or a debate. But then they only gave him 24 hours to respond. They set a date and time without even mentioning it to him directly. And when he said he can only show up virtually, they said, oh, well, you know what? You can't be there in person, so we're not going to have you. We're just going to talk about it without you there. Do you think that would be fair for Trump?
I think that's apples and oranges.
That's the same exact situation that's going on right now. Why is it apples and oranges? Because you like Trump?
No, it's apples and oranges because...
Blake, come on, man.
It's totally different.
It's
so you
the
believe?
same.
Hold on.
I gave you the verbatim situation.
So Blake, sorry. Do you different Blake? Well, here, Brick.
Yeah, you should call me Brick. Call me Brick, please.
No, there's a Blake on stage who just came up too.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a Blake up here. So anyway, that's what I was saying. I was getting confused myself there for a second. Brick, so you feel like the way that invitation was presented and then executed and then nullified, you believe that was all kosher and up to sincerity?
Again, maybe they intended to do it at midnight so that everybody would wake up to the news at the same time instead of dropping it at 9 a.m. Eastern the next day, or 9 a.m. Eastern or 9 a.m. Mountain, and then people who woke up that morning on the East Coast would have missed it. I don't know what they're. I don't know what. Look, I don't know.
When I tweet at midnight, it's with the understanding that I can get away with saying a little bit more than I would usually. Because
that may be true for your account. That may be true for your account, but it won't be true for the type of message that they put out then. So I can't surmise. I mean, I'm just guessing. I don't know, but that's like something I could come up with.
You didn't answer the question. So do you believe that it meets the Like it meets the bar for sincerity, the way that this entire thing was executed?
I think it does, because here's the fact. Here's the thing. It's Turning Point's event, and they have every right to set all the conditions. It's their event. They get to dictate it. So there it is.
You're absolutely right, and they can also deal with the fallout with the way that they executed it. So, 100%, 100%. Their responsibility, they can own it. Go ahead, Doctor Strange.
Hey, I also want to let
Thanks.
everybody know that I do need to go in about 15 minutes. So if we're in the middle of something and if I have to pull a ripcord, it's a
No,
it's a
no,
it's a
no. I'm not gonna let
it's a
anybody get
previous
some
time
gotchas.
commitment.
He bailed. He bailed. I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Doctor
Yeah,
Strange.
thanks so much. So to corroborate what Diligent was saying, let's objectively step back and say, whether you agree with Candace or not, the reality is that she's bringing in a lot of concerning attention on TPUSA, and it may very well impact their objective and goals down the line. Now, any sane senior staff is going to sit back and say, Candace was friends with Charlie. She may be hurt. She should be on our side. And, we don't want to hide anything from her. Let's sit down and be completely transparent with her and get her to be on our side. We don't want to divide the Conservative Party with the
They had such
midterms.
an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, with the midterms right around the corner. This would be acting in good faith and putting everything to rest. They don't even have to do it publicly. They could have done it privately, but this didn't happen. I mean, this is very reasonable. This is what a normal, reasonable senior staff would have done, Brick. And you're a reasonable person. You're a bright person. You can completely understand that this would be a normal course, but they've done the exact opposite. And now, when they have finally the opportunity, they're putting all these conditions, all these things without really addressing the issues. They're stipulating all kinds of other stuff, which is derailing the meat of the issues. So I hope you can see where other people are, why other people are having major issues with TPUSA. And Brick, you're a
Well,
conservative.
you're right. You're right that Candace was involved with them, but would you also agree that her involvement has tapered off in the last 2 years?
Sure, but she was still friends with Charlie. That, a lot of
She
people
toured
move on.
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she wasn't. I don't think she was on the initial list of invites to America
Rick,
Fest this
look at the
year.
bigger picture. Look at the
Really?
bigger picture, Rick. This is going to divide the conservative movement, and this is going to affect the midterms.
And where, right, I agree. Look, the main goal, I think, of anybody who's on social media, all right, yeah, let's not, anybody, like, there are people who are on social media who want to get news. There are people who are on social media for entertainment. There's people who are on social media to keep up with others. But, and I'm not trying to be, elitist here when I say that I think we would all agree that there's a certain percentage of accounts or type of accounts that are on social media to be proactive for their political causes. And I believe that the main purpose of anybody who places themselves in that category should be to motivate voters to get out for the issues that they support. All right. In one way or another, it's all
But
about driving public opinion and turnout. Okay. And
but
so when I look
TPUSA is
at
much bigger than that, right?
what, no, well, what I'm saying is that, um, I, for a long time, when I look at somebody like, I hate to use other names, like, let's say like Scott Pressler. Okay, there's somebody I think probably everybody's familiar with, not very controversial. His main focus is always registration, turnout, um, awareness of ballot initiatives. He would be somebody that I would put as being like the apex example of somebody whose account is mainly concerned with motivating voters to participate in elections and to to get that information out there. All right. I think that everybody has a duty to that. My account, probably 10% shit posting, 5%, whatever. But there is still, in my account, there is the primary goal is really to bring attention to the core issue that I feel strongly about, which is border integrity, and to motivate people to to activate themselves at the ballot box in a manner that supports that. I don't necessarily think that since September, I've seen that from some other accounts. I've seen them pivot to really commenting on other conservative accounts, but not necessarily really like talk about the off-cycle elections that we had in November, or the retention of justices in Pennsylvania, or things like that. So,
And to my point, Brett, that's even more reason to put these things to rest at its core, instead of basically making it lingering on, because now people are
yeah,
going to have
what
trust
I'm saying is that
issues.
I think that some accounts right now really aren't interested in putting things to rest. I think some accounts right now
The only way
are
to
really
find
more
No,
that
but what
out,
interested in
about
the
Trump? What about
controversy.
TPUSA?
the only way to find that out is to just come out with the truth, right? Like to come out with the response. You can't be like, oh well,
No,
it
actually,
doesn't
it's
matter if
not,
I
because
come
I
out with
think that
it doesn't
honestly,
matter if I'm transparent.